ושפתם מים בששון ממעייני הישוע, שפתם מים בששון ממעייני הישוע, מים 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 מים, מים בששון, מים 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 מים, מים בששון, היי 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 היי, מים 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 בששון, מים 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 בששון, ושפתם מים בששון ממעייני הישוע, שפתם מים בששון ממעייני הישוע, מים 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 מים, מים בששון, מים 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 מים, מים בששון, היי 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 היי, מים 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 בששון, מים 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 בששון.
A waitress once came to the table and asked the people what they wanted to drink. One of the guys there said, "I want some water." The other person said, "I want water too, and make sure my water comes in a clean glass." When the waitress came back, she said, "Which one of you ordered the clean glass?" Yes, my friends, a clean glass of water is such a wonderful blessing, but we too often take it for granted. Do we go to a restaurant and order water and think how lucky we are? Or do we think, oh, we're just getting water, we should have got some iced tea or something? The abundance of water on the planet, it is such a rare commodity in the universe, essential for life. We take it for granted. That's why we started out with Mayim Mayim, giving thanks for water. Our ancestors also recognized how essential water it was to their lives, especially in their environment. In a desert, a dry, arid environment, water is as precious as gold. And so we consider water today and in our past to be something that we should never take for granted. Indeed, the Torah reading, which we'll read this Shabbat, about the beginning of creation, starts out as if water was already there. And then God just separated the waters and evaporated the waters to allow dry land to appear. It's not that God created water. It was kind of assumed that water was already there, part of the initial ingredients that God had to work with. My friends, we've been doing these video Shabbat celebrations for a very, very long time. We recently had a live service and it was spectacular. To be with other people, to be able to engage personally with each other. We are going to continue to do that more and more until we're meeting live all the time. It was a great experience, which we shall repeat. And we will also make these services available to everyone through modern technology and through the power of the internet so that people can enjoy our services locally and globally. Now with the celebration of water, the celebration of creation, the celebration of Shabbat, now let the festivities begin. And I want to thank Donna and Bill Field for leading us in the candle lighting and Stacy Lichtman for leading us in the Kiddush.
Good evening, everyone. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotov v'tzivonu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. May we be blessed with joy. May we be blessed with light. May we be blessed with peace. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. May you all stay safe and socially connected. Have a wonderful week.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Almost all Jewish ceremonies and celebrations involve wine, and Shabbat is no exception. Ritual doesn't exist for the sake of itself. It exists to accomplish some things. We could imagine that our sages simply decided to sweeten celebrations from births to weddings with wine. However, the wine itself serves as a switch. It sets the time apart and makes it special, holy, and unique. It's not about the wine itself. It's about what the wine has the power to do when we raise our glass with intention. That's the magic of Kiddush, from the Hebrew word for holy, our ability to demarcate time, to say that this Friday night, this exact moment, which has never occurred before and will never again, is special. This is the beauty of Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Good Yontif, and I hope the entire Va-Dor family has a healthy, happy, and sweet year.
Achad sha'alti meit Adonai, Achad sha'alti ota vakesh, Achad sha'alti meit Adonai, Achad sha'alti ota vakesh, shivti, shivti, beveit Adonai, shivti, shivti, kol yemei chayai, shivti, shivti, beveit Adonai, shivti, shivti, kol yemei chayai, lachazot benoam Adonai, benoam Adonai, behechalo, lachazot benoam Adonai, to gaze upon the שאלתי אותה אבקש.
Before I shot this video, I went to the park with my dog Nudnik. Don't blame me, my mother gave Nudnik that name. Nudnik had a great time at the park. When Nudnik saw some people, she would run over, give them a little greeting, sniff their feet, and seek to be pet by them and lick them. And Nudnik was very friendly to everybody she saw. Nudnik spent a great deal of time, an inordinate amount of time, sniffing the grass and romping in the field. Sometimes she would even roll over in the field just to feel the grass on her back. And she had such a wonderful time there. She didn't require anything to feel elated other than to enjoy nature and to enjoy people and other living things. That, my friends, is what we aspire to. Many times, the human mind gets in the way of that. We're thinking of something that happened yesterday. He said this to me, and he got me upset. How dare he say that to me? Sometimes we worry about the future. Uh-oh, I wonder if I'm going to get a call from this person, and it's going to be very upsetting. Oh no, what's going to happen at work? Our mind causes us not to notice the beauty of nature and of our good fortune. What we seek to do in cosmic Judaism is to use the mind not to interfere with, but to enhance our spirituality. So when we go out to nature, we can actually enjoy the beautiful sight and realize how spectacular it is. And to realize that all of this got here by incredible processes of nature, and it's all maintained as such. That's what Einstein was talking about when he referred to cosmic religion. A religion in which we sense the numinous, the transcendent, not only through the heart, but also through the rational mind, which enhances the experience. And so now we're going to engage in such a process with some of our traditional prayers, understood in many non-traditional ways.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed.
And this prayer gives thanks at the level of understanding of our ancestors as something truly stupendous. The orderly conduct of the cosmos of which Earth is a part. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim v'chachma poteach she'arim u'bitbuna mishanei itim u'machalip et hazmanim u'misader et hakochavim, orders the stars b'mishmoroteihem in their courses barakia kirtzono borei yom v'layla korlel or mipnei choshech mipnei or u'ma'avir yom u'mevi layla u'ma'avdil ben yom u'ven layla Adonai tzvaot shemo el chai v'kayam tamid yamloch aleinu le'olam va'ed baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim.
This is the Shema and the Be'achafta in the Spanish-Portuguese tradition. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'achavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושננתן לבניך דיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושופך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
And you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be upon your heart, shall be upon your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up, and you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorpost of your house, and upon your gates, and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ויעקב ישראל, אמרו, אמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו מיעקב ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום. Shalom aleinu mi'alko Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu mi'alko Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu mi'alko Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu mi'alko Israel.
On this Shabbat, where we focus on water, where we focus on creation, because we're reading from the very first Sedra of the Torah, I hope everyone will perhaps spend a few moments reflecting on the joy of water. Perhaps it was a swimming pool. Perhaps you were on a diving board. Perhaps you went to a beautiful lake. Perhaps you have an image or a view of the power of the ocean. Or maybe you were out by the river seeing the power of the current of the river. So many wonderful experiences of water. Or perhaps you were really, really tired, really hot, really sweaty after playing a tough game of basketball or tennis or soccer. And you took a drink of water, nice cold water, remember how beautiful it was. Let us spend a few moments now in silent meditation, pondering the great fortune that we have to have a planet with water.
Shema El Narefanala. Please heal this soul. Misheberach Avraham V'Sara Yitzchak v'Rivka Yaakov Rachel v'Leah El Narefanala Refuah Shlema El Narefanala. Please heal this soul. Faith and love together we bring hope and healing to those in need, without judgment, without explanation, for we are all God's creation. El Narefanala Refuah Shlema El Narefanala. Please heal this soul.
Now it's time for one of the greatest passages of all in the Torah, the very, very first passage from the book of Genesis, Bereshit. Baruch hu et Adonai hamavarach, Baruch Adonai hamavarach l'olam v'ed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim v'et ha'aretz. In the beginning God created heaven and earth. V'aretz hayata tohu v'avohu. The earth was null and void, without shape or form. V'choshech al pnei tohom. Darkness covered the face of the depths. V'ruach Elohim rachefet al pnei hamayim. And the Spirit of God seemed to float above or hover above the waters. Vayomer Adonai yehi or. And God said, let there be light. Vayehi or. Vayar Elohim et ha'or ki tov. God saw that the light was good. Vayavdel Elohim ben ha'or ben ha'choshech. God divided the light from the darkness. Vayikra Elohim la'or yom v'la'choshech hara laila. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Vayihi erev vayihi boker yom echad. There was evening, there was morning, first day. Vayomer Elohim yehi chakia b'toch hamayim. And God said, let there be a firmament between the waters. Vayihi mavdil ben mayim lemayim. So that there should be a separation between the waters. Vayas Elohim et harakia. God created this firmament. Vayavdel ben hamayim asher mitachat larakia uben hamayim asher ma'al larakia. God divided the waters, those that were above the firmament and those that were below. Vayihi ken, and thus it was. Vayikra Elohim larakia shamayim. God called this firmament shamayim, which means the heavens, and sounds a lot like mayim, which is water, which it's separating. Vayihi erev vayihi boker yom sheni. It was evening and morning, second day. Vayomer Elohim yekavu hamayim mitachat hashamayim el makom echad. Again, the entire scenario is really centered upon life-giving water. And God said, let the waters that are below the firmament be gathered into one place. V'tira'eh et hayabasha, in order that dry land should appear. Vayihi chen, and thus it was. Vayikra Elohim leyabasha eretz. God called the dry land eretz, or earth. Ulamakom hamayim kara yamim. And the gathering of the waters he called the seas, or the oceans. Vayar Elohim kitov. God saw that it was good. Vayomer Elohim tidashe haaretz deshe esed mazliya zecha etz pari asat pari lemineo. God said, let the earth sprout forth vegetation, all types of greenery and foliage and trees, which all bear the seeds of its kind within them. Asher zara'o vo, which has its own seeds within it. Al haaretz, upon the earth. Vayihi chen, and thus it was. V'totzeh haaretz deshe esed mazliya zera leminehu. Ve'etz oseh pari asher zahor bo. And God did create all the foliage and vegetation and the flora with seeds in it after its own kind. Vaya Elohim ki tov. God saw that it was good. Vayi ela vayi boker. Yom shlishi. There was evening. There was morning. The third day. Blessing after the Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chai olam nata bitochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
It's Chaimi למחזיקים בה בתומכם המאושר דרכיה דרכי נועם בכל נתיבותיה שלום השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה חדש ימינו כקדם.
Today we read one of the most amazing passages in the entire Torah, the story of the beginning of the world. Our ancestors did not have great tools to try to figure out what really happened, so they used their vivid imagination like cultures of that time did, came up with some very fanciful tales. Poor Adam and Eve. They just could not stay out of trouble. Well, it's easy to figure out why. They were raising Cain. And poor Cain, he just couldn't control his temper. Do you know why? Because he wasn't able. My friends, these stories are fanciful and mythological, but they teach us a lot if we look at them in the right way. Not literally, but figuratively. There are some things they got right. We are created in a divine image. We have wondrous capabilities and qualities that if only we tapped into them, we could do so much with our lives and so much with this world. We are also all kin. We're all descended from the same source. No, not Adam and Eve. They were fictitious people, but science does tell us that we all emerged from common ancestors. Not only human beings, but also primates and all living things. Quite remarkable. We also see that in the Torah, there's a separation between good and evil. It says God saw that it was good. Everything was good, and certain things weren't so good, but all of creation was good. What does that tell us? It tells us that even the mosquitoes that are so annoying actually serve an essential purpose in the web of life. And we must be very careful what we do to that web of life. There is another thing that's quite remarkable about the Torah. It says that because Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, they got really smart, and then they were cursed, and Eve had to bear children in pain. There is some truth to that. What happened was when the human beings were thrust out onto the savannah as the forest decreased, they had to compete with other animals, and so they got really, really smart, really, really fast. And the human female's body wasn't able to accommodate this big head and this big brain. And so the childbirth was in pain because of the intelligence of human beings reflected in Genesis in a way. And so we know that for human beings, giving birth is extremely taxing on the body of women and often was fatal. So many women and children died in childbirth, and that is why men do not have the right to impose their will and say, I demand, I order you, I make it legally required that if you conceive, you must give birth. We do not have that right to tell women that they should undergo this risk because childbirth is a beautiful blessing when it is freely chosen. And it can seem like great oppression and harm and terrible when motherhood is forced upon people who are not ready for that. That's why we join with people around the country in protecting a woman's right to choose from hideous abortion laws like they have in Texas and which they're trying to import to the state of Florida. When does life really begin? Well, in the Torah, life begins at birth. It says in Genesis, God breathed life into man and then he became a living thing. He had a neshama or a nefesh, a living thing. Life is equated with breathing, and it took place at birth. Does this make sense logically? Perhaps not. But if people say that they believe in the Bible, these religious, so-called religious people who say, well, the Bible says, they should consider life to begin at birth. And anything else is about when life begins, like a conception, is really a misconception, if you'll pardon the expression. There is the old joke about the priest who says, life begins at conception. And the minister says, no, life begins in the beginning of the third trimester. And the rabbi says, no, life begins when the last child moves out of home and goes off to medical school. So there are different definitions of when life begins, but we don't have the right to impose that upon everyone else. Something else that's really fascinating about when life begins is that, if you think about it, our lives didn't even begin at conception. Before we were conceived, there was a living thing, a sperm and an egg. And they had been living even before that and before that. And our parents had sperm and egg that were before that. Life is a continuum. Life began, we think, about 4 billion years ago, and there's never a point where it stopped and then started again. So to say that, well, life begins at conception, doesn't make any sense religiously or scientifically or logically. What an amazing thing that life began about 4 billion years ago and continues to today. But there's something even more remarkable. If you were to look at the human fetus, and we can now do this with modern technology, you will see that there's something incredible going on. It's captured in 3 words. Ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny. What that means is that the development of the fetus in the womb replicates or duplicates the evolution of whatever being that is, such as a human being. So if you take a look at what's going on in the womb, if you can see it with an electron microscope, you see first a cell corresponding to the amoeba. Then you would see something that looks kind of like a fish in water, the amniotic fluid. And so we emerge in water in the womb. Then from there you'll see something that looks like a salamander, and then a reptile, and then a mammal, and then there's rapid brain growth. The fetus actually acquires a tail like our ancestors did, and then the tail disappears. It actually acquires a coat of fur, and then the fur disappears. We go through all the stages of evolution. Isn't that remarkable? That every single act of childbirth duplicates billions of years and comes out usually just right. When it does, we give thanks. Each of us who is born healthy should rejoice in this modern miracle, and rejoice also that we were born human and in the United States, and at a time where we have a lifespan usually that exceeds 30 years. Something else that's kind of remarkable. If you look at the sun, there's hydrogen here and hydrogen there, and they don't like each other, but under the force of gravity, they come together and they fuse. And when 2 hydrogens come together, they give off energy, they form helium, and they give off energy and warmth that powers the earth. The H in hydrogen you could think of as human. When 2 humans come together on earth, they become one unit when they have love between them and they give off energy and warmth. Think about this. 2 hydrogen atoms coming together and they produce light. This is something completely different. Hydrogen is a gas. Gases come together and all of a sudden you have light with all of its incredible qualities traveling at 186,000 miles per second. How does hydrogen convert into light? And then you add water to the mixture, hydrogen and water, hydrogen rather and oxygen, H2O, and from 2 gases, hydrogen and oxygen, you get water, which we celebrate today. What an incredible feat. Many people say it's impossible that a physical object, a material object like matter, could also become a human being with consciousness. God must have done it. There must be God who put life into human beings because life is so different than non-life. If you think about the fact that 2 gases can produce light, and then you add oxygen that produces water, then obviously there's no need for a supernatural being. We are miracles. The atoms in our body are all wondrous. We should cherish our life. And we should also recognize this. When you take the two hydrogens and add oxygen, you get something totally different, water. You could say the two hydrogens are humans and the O is other, the other. When you take two human beings and bring them together, and then you also join them with the other, instead of saying us and them, you say they are now joined with us. We are all one. When humanity unites, when we join with other people, we can accomplish anything. There's no problem on earth that could not be resolved by the unity of human beings. They say, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. So I say to you today, all religion must be transformed. Let us celebrate the gift of life, the gift of water, the gift of this miracle that we call planet Earth. And let us transform religion so we are now all joined together, all people of all backgrounds, not telling your story or my story or his story, telling our story, the beginning of Earth and of the cosmos. Call it cosmic religion, which is no longer tribal, but sees us as part of this cosmic scheme. And when we view ourselves in that way, and when religion is transformed in that way, then the dreams of Albert Einstein and Carl Sagan and the prophets of old will come true. We will be able to sense a wondrous, transcendent, numinous power with our heart and with our mind. And when we unite with others in this enterprise, we can do anything. Shabbat Shalom.
This is
You Got a Friend in Me
Yep, by Claire and Dad.
by Claire and Dad.
You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from a nice warm bed, you just remember what your old pal said. Yeah, you got a friend in me. Girl, you got a friend in me.
This is the second verse. I'm doing the second verse. You got friends in me. You got a friend in me. You got troubles. I got them too. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for you. We stick together, can see it through. 'Cause you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me.
Some other folks might be a little bit smarter than I am, bigger and stronger too. But none of them will ever love you the way I do. It's just me and you, girl.
And as the years go by,
Our friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו משתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
As one who performs and officiates at many celebrations of life, which other people refer to as funerals, we often have read the 23rd Psalm. The 23rd Psalm is in defiance of science. It doesn't quite accord with a rational view of the world and the creative power that generates and sustains it. And therefore, I've rewritten it in a way that resonates not only with Jewish thought, but also with science and reason and appreciation for creation, and also our theme of water. I'd like to share it with you. The world is my treasure, I shall not want. I give thanks for green pastures that provide our daily bread. I rejoice in the sacred waters of ocean, rivers, lakes, and streams, the sources of life. May we restore their purity for the earth's sake. I seek the spiritual path and the peace of a good name. Yea, though I walk in the valley of the shadow of mortality, I shall fear no evil, for reason and love they comfort me, and I have no need of false gods. My enemies are no more when I make them my friends. My mind is anointed with reason. My Yiddish cup runneth over with emet, and my heart rejoices with tzedek. Surely I shall pursue kindness and mercy all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the abode of love and peace and gratitude forever. And now, the Kaddish. Yiskedal v'yiskedash shemer haba, v'yomad yivrach ruseh v'yamlich ma'chuseh, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayeh l'chol beis Yisrael, v'agalav yizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shemer haba mivorach la'olam romei omaya, Yisporach, v'yistabach, v'yispoah, v'yischoma, v'yisnaseh, v'yisadar, v'yisalev, v'yisalal shemer kudashah berechu. Le'elam enko berchasa v'shirasa, tush b'chasa v'nechamasa, dam yachon v'yomah v'yimru amen. Yehi shlom rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the source of peace and comfort bring peace and comfort to all who mourn. And let us derive comfort in remembering our loved ones by realizing and appreciating how lucky we are to have had them in our lives, and how lucky we are for the phenomenon of life itself. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom to you, and we thank you for viewing our Shabbat this week and celebrating this beautiful weekly holiday with Va-Dor. I'm Sharon Leibovitz. We thank all of those who came out on last Sunday to celebrate Simchas Torah with us. For those that were not able to join us, you can view our special celebration on our YouTube channel or from our website, ladorvador.org. Enjoy it as much as we did. We loved the music and the dancing. It was great. Please join us for our weekly Torah study and chat with Rabbi each Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. on Zoom. We have some exciting guests upcoming in the next few weeks, and we hope you'll tune in. Va-Dor offers a rational view of Judaism, one based on intellect, reason, and science, and one that makes sense. Be inspired and engaged by all we have to offer. Together, we can build the Judaism of tomorrow, along with Va-Dor and Rabbi Barry, and share this with others. It's a Judaism appealing to all ages and backgrounds, and we hope that you'll take us up on our very special offer and join us and become a part of the Va-Dor Mishpacha. Now is the time to join Va-Dor. Help us to share this rational and exciting Judaism with the world. We thank all of our members and friends for continuing to support us and everything that Va-Dor stands for and offers. We continue our Shabbat celebration every Friday evening with our Zoom and Shmooze at 8 p.m. And we invite you to be a part of our continued celebration, our Oneg Shabbat, where we enjoy some music and song, sharing with each other, discussing topics of interest and more. Join us and get a flavor of what Va-Dor is all about and enjoy seeing one another face to face on Zoom. We hope to see you there at 8 p.m. this evening. We welcome you to learn more about Va-Dor from our website, ladorvador.org, our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, and from our emailed newsletters. Links and information for all of our Va-Dor programming can be found on our website as well. Enjoy Va-Dor along with us. Wishing you an outstanding October. Happy birthday and happy anniversary to those celebrating during this month. We hope that Va-Dor has started your Shabbat off on the right foot. Have a great week ahead and wishing you all Shabbat Shalom with love from Va-Dor.
On this Shabbat, in which we celebrate creation and the gift of water, I want everyone to think back at their own personal creation. Think back about when you were born. Now, I know you weren't there, but you probably heard a little bit about it described by your parents. Just remember how fortunate each one of us is to have been born, to be able to live on this planet. And I'm reminded of the words of Muhammad Ali, who said that kindness to others is the rent that we pay for our place on earth. Let us never take for granted the gift of life, and let us always give back, because in that way we not only bring joy to others, but to ourselves. And so we commemorate now the birthdays of all of those who are celebrating October birthdays and anniversaries as well. And I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight and for sharing in the joy of creation and the celebration of birth. Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmarecha. May you be blessed and guided in your journey through life. Ya'ech Adonai panav elecha v'choneka. May the light of love shine upon you always. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you be lifted up by the power of the words that we heard here tonight, and also by the contemplation of the fact that our life, our birth, was not assured or guaranteed. And let us give thanks for that incredible, wondrous circumstance. And let us rejoice and show our gratitude for life by appreciating every moment and giving back to others. I want to thank you for joining us in this Shabbat celebration. As I mentioned, we will be doing live services very soon, probably at least once a month now and more often in the future. And we will still make these Shabbat celebrations available to everyone through the internet. Thank you for joining us. Shabbat Shalom. Have an awesome week. Rabbi Barry Silver, on behalf of Congregation Va-Dor, bringing you Cosmic Judaism, in which we merge the beauty of science and the wonders of revelation and the joy of Judaism together. Shabbat Shalom.
Shemin tov, mazel tov, shemin tov, mazel tov, shemin tov, mazel tov, shemin tov, Yehelanu, 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 Ulecho Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecho Yisrael.
Adon olam asher malav dam 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 ba-da-da-dam ba-da-dam בטרם כל יציר נברא דם 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 בלדם בלדם לעת נעשה בחפצו כל דם 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 בלדם אזי מלך שמו נקרא דם 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 בלדם אדון עולם אשר מלך טרם כל יציר נברא אדון עולם לעת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, אדון עולם. אדון עולם אשר מלך, טרם כל יציר נברא, אדון עולם. עת נשא לחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, אדון עולם. ואחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, אדון עולם. והוא היה והוא הווה, והוא יהיה אדון עולם. אדון עולם, אשר מלך, 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 אדון עולם, אשר מלך. אחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, אדון עולם.